Welcome to the series of Oracle Fusion middleware video lessons. In this video, I'll be talking on SCA. In the previous lessons, I believe we have seen about the SOAP protocol and even XSD example also. So before going for the practical sound SOA development, we need to aware of a SCA model here. So SCA is the full form, Service Component Architecture. So SCA in general, it has, or it is actually created by the major software vendors like IBM, and TIPCO. See, these are the companies. They have created a programming model, that is called SCA. So SCA is a programming model. SCA is a programming model. It is created by major software vendors like Oracle, IBM, and TIPCO. What it provides, SCA, is it a technology? As I mentioned just before, it's a programming model rather than it's an architecture, and created by different vendors. And what it does, or what it provides a model, or actually what it is for SOA, or it provides a model for composing applications that follow SOA principles. It is actually a model, which is given by different vendors, follow SOA principles. Let me retype here. So I don't have a presentation, so I have to type everything on the notepad only. Please bear with me till we reach the practical lessons. And these are all theoretical, explanations on different things. And I have to say, so let me write down here some theoretical explanation. SCA is I think it's a group of specifications. See what it is for. Let me say what it for. So what it means for SOA. So SCA is a group of specifications. I'll give you an example also, so that you'll understand what I'm actually typing here. SCA. Say I'll open a Google thing and I'll say some circuit board. So if you see any circuit board, open another image. Or whatever, in any circuit board. Say now you consider this circuit board. You can consider, SCA is a plan, the one which we are referring in terms of this terminology, in terms of SCA terminology. If you assume this circuit board, a SCA is a plan for how to build, how to build the individual electrical component. Say you they'll not be able to build everything at once. So each electrical component here, which you are seeing, it is on this motherboard. This has to be built separately and have to assemble on this motherboard. So that's what I'm saying. It's a plan. SCA is a plan for how to build the individual electrical components. So they can snap. So they can snap on the circuit board easily. So if at all we don't have a plan, we don't know how to make it and how to snap it on this circuit board. That's what SCA does here. It's a plan for how to build individual components and insert or assemble it on a board. So this is a small example. I'll give it. I'll try to put an example also, which is about the purchasing order. Purchase order processing. I'll explain that as an example. So this is the best way to relate actually. So let me complete this. SCA is a group of, as I said, it's a specifications. Group of specifications intended for the development of applications. For the development of applications based on SOA. See, and that too, SCA is not there in SOA 10G. So SCA has been introduced with the SOA, with SOA 11G. So the SCA is a group of specifications intended for development of applications based on SOA. So they have given some specifications which is intended for development of applications based on SOA. So Oracle has followed this SCA, and even Apache, they also have their open source SCA based SOA programming. In other companies like IBM, they followed SCA. So the example, purchase order processing system. So before even as I said, it's a programming model, but programming model for what or whom? This is a programming model. So it's a programming model for making individual components or creating service components. You will get to know what is this service components means. Components with a wide range of technologies. So it's a programming model for whom? That means for creating a wide range of technologies. Like wide range of technologies such as Java, C, BPL, that is what we use in SOA, C++. So SCA is a programming model, as I mentioned before, and which will be helpful, or with the help of these languages we'll be able to create service components. So who is helping us to do this? So SCA is helping us. It's a programming model helping us to create in different kind of languages based on your requirements to create the service components. And it is not only about creating the programming model or creating service components. It helps even in other way also. It is, if I call this as a framework, it's a framework for maybe standardize. Don't consider spelling mistakes here. Standardizing and simplifying. Simplifying what? Building, deployment, and managing the service components. So the SCA, it's a standard and which will simplify the way we are building the service components, the way we are deploying, the way we are managing the service components. So building means here we use GeoDeveloper, Oracle GeoDeveloper to build the service components. With the help of SCA framework, there are drag and drop components are available. Like this is the how GeoDeveloper looks like, and you have so many components here, service components to drag and drop, and deployment. GeoDeveloper will help you to deploy directly from GeoDeveloper to your WebLogic server. So even there also SCA standardize everything, and managing the service components, which is through Enterprise Manager, the WebLogic server Enterprise Manager console. So even there SCA helps to manage your deployed service components. So that is about, and we have seen what the SCA here. Let me explain here. I'm not sure how much it relates here. It's a plan, for me SCA is a plan to say how to build the individual electrical components, so they can snap on the circuit board. So it's a plan, it's a plan given to your chip developers, chip, or what you call manufacturers, or chip, the person who work on this chip development. It's a plan given to the chip engineer to build individual electrical components so they can snap on the circuit board easily. So if one team is working on this design, and the other team is working on another chip design, so both they follow one model or one plan to snap the chip back on the motherboard. So that's a small example here. Okay, let me go to general, or purchase order management system, purchase order processing system example. Okay, so there is some company, like is company A. For company A, we are making a purchase order processing system. So this can be in different ways, through which your company accepts orders from many sources. So on your company A, so there are different kinds of sources where you will accept the purchase order. It might be through file, or it might through web, that is called our web portal, etc. Something. It might be through file, you might get the purchase order information through file, that is through XML or something else, or through web. Directly they can, block it from the web portal. So here, what this purchase order processing system does, then there is a credit card. The credit card, or in this process, the purchase order processing system, in this process, so what we have to do it in technically, in Java language or C or C++, in any language, what we have to do to achieve or to complete this purchase order processing system through web file or something else. So I'll just list down the steps which are required to complete this process. The credit card status for the customer, is validated, and if the credit card is good, the order continues. This is one way, not one way. First we will verify whatever the information comes through file, web or anything. The credit card has to be validated. If it is validated, then the order continues. Otherwise, this will not process. They'll check the credit card expiry date and everything with the other system. And another thing I have, if the order amount is big or large, okay, I'll put it in different way, different wording. An order for the large purchase price, large purchase price requires a manual approval. A manual approval step. So for the small amounts, I can directly validate. After validating, it will be automatically approved. But if there are any orders, just consider this an example. I am not yet related to the SCA, but I'm just trying to explain a business scenario where you can expect, you can see it in the many organizations. So the first one is validating the card, and an order for large purchase requires is a manual approval. If it crosses $10,000, so I would rather require someone to approve it before completing the purchase order. And once this is done, we'll be so if it is a small amount, you are validating and approving, and if it is a big amount, you require manual approval. Finally, once everything is done, the order is written to a test file to be processed by the purchase department, that is fulfillment house. So once everything is done, the order is written to a test file or XML file to be processed by the fulfillment house. For approved orders, once it is approved, the order is sent to the fulfillment carrier. See, my point here is, I don't want to say it. I add more steps here. So it actually it has so many things to do here. If at all you develop this kind of requirement in without going for SCA, without going for so on, it is going to be hectic. So, or in old way, or how before having SCA and SOA, how we do it in the old way. Old way of doing things. Things you would probably would likely open up several tools to build the system. Consisting of web services, system orchestration, human involvement, business rules, and you might require adapters also. So these many things you required to develop separately, before SCA. If you assume like we don't have a SCA, so in old way of doing things, something like you have to create a web service for your purchase order system, and orchestration to manage to orchestrate each and every step here, and for the approval process you required a human involvement, and for that you required another tool to create the human involvement. Uh, if the purchase order requires a manual approval, for this you might require another tool to create the human involvement a program, or the process. Or sometimes you require a business rules. Say if the order crosses 5,000 means you need to have some business rules here, and adapters if at all it is communicating with the file. Once you write after everything is done, you wanted to write this purchase order processing system, the information, the purchase order information to a file. So there you require another adapter, and for that you might require to use another tool, some other tool. So that is the way how people, or we use it in a old days. But with the help of SCA, it is very easy. They made it very easy. That is one advantage of with Oracle. So for me, I'll say in brackets it's a Composite.xml. I'll explain that. So with Oracle, so with the Oracle SCA, also I'll say it is SCA. So SCA is not Composite XML. SCA is Composite.xml. So with Oracle SCA, you can build everything here. You can build all these components in GDeveloper itself. So I said GDeveloper is an IDE, something like Eclipse. We use it for the SOA development, and wire them together into a composite application. With SCA. So this is what. So for creating all these things, in old days you might require different tools and different languages, but once the SCA introduced in the market by IBM, Oracle and different companies, so now it is very easy to build all the components at one shot. So with Oracle, it's Oracle developer. With IBM, it might be different. With the Apache, it might be different. But since we are going with the Oracle, so we can develop everything, all of these things using developer itself, and we can wire them together as a composite application with SCA. So that's what in a small example how it helps in the real world example. Okay, so SCA, it's a yeah, I don't want to confuse more here. So hope you all got some meaning out of this. So you assume it's an architecture or it's a programming model. So we'll just follow this in SOA to create services. So what in SCA I can say there are 5 key elements. To show you in a developer, see I've just I've created a project here under application. So I have dropped a BPL process component from the available palette to the work area, and I know this is what your composite.xml file. I will go to source file. So this is the composite.xml file. So that means we can even consider this is called a SCA. So what are the key elements in this SCA? So you have seen the composite. So it might be boring for you guys, but we have to know all these concepts before moving to the actual coding. So you need to aware each and everything, what this file and what are these tags, and what we mean by expose service components, external references. I'll explain on maybe I'll create another project and I'll try to explain from step 1. But for now I've created a project. You can understand, you will be opening this file very frequently after this video. So for now I'll try to explain the components inside this file, that is your SCA. So composite, it's a deployment unit basically. So another one is service. So it's an entry point. You see, for me services is this is when I'm talking about expose services. Entry point into the, we are calling this as a composite. So entry point to the composite. Say this is the expose service, means once we create the SOA service, so how we call this SOA service? With the help of a WSDL, alright, a WSDL file. So that is what expose service means here. So service exposed, service exposed by the component. So service exposed by the component that are callable from outside. So it should be callable in a way the external world should be able to use this, callable from outside. Yeah, we can say callable from outside. And okay, so what is the other component? You see it is actual components, So in short, it has three layers. If you see, there's one line here and there's another line here. So this is the three sections in our composite.xml. One is export services, components, and external references. We got to know about export services. So export service is your WSDL file kind of. I'll explain about components now. It is actually your logic unit. I mean your business logic units provides the logic to be used within the composite. I think that should be okay, because we visit these very frequently after that. So components, let me write it. So components, it is actually the main one where you write all your web service related functionality or the logic. Everything goes under or inside these components. So I've dropped the people process here from this palette to here. So this is what your a key area, or all of your development will happen on this component layer. Another one is a reference, external reference. I can call it as reference. It refers to internal external services. So it refers external services. So if you're in your web service, in your service components, or in your composite. So for me, composite is your SOA service. So when you are writing something in this service to interact with the other systems, so we write everything in external references. So export service is something you are giving to the outer world to call your service, and external reference is something you are referring some other system on your service that is on, or that will be inside external references. Okay. And you required some wiring components also. That is not. So this is what I mean, a wiring component to connect from your export services to components, or components to external references, or anything inside your component. People process is invoking some business rule, or some other human task flow, or some other thing. You required a wise to connect this. So this is simple connect services. Services, components, and references, of course. Connect services, components, and references. So these are the main elements in SCA, but for now, in short, or you see it here, export service, components, and external reference. So that means you have only three things here, the three sections. Three sections in composite dot. So composite XML is what? This is your composite XML. I mean, this is the only source code, but I opened in the design mode. That's the reason it is looking like this. Otherwise, this is what your source code of your composite.xml file. And since we are talking about SCA, so this is the SCA here. So what are the three components? Three sections in composite.xml. You have export service, you have a service component, you have external references. So this is how it looks like in composite.xml file in Chodapar. So you will be visiting this very frequently in SOA development. So I can separate it out in two ways. This is one service components. I'll write down here. And I have another thing called binding component. So service components is here. We explained about components, provide complete logic to be used within the composite. So this is where actual your development goes. Binding components or other two, exposed services and external services. External references, sorry. So these two we can call it as binding components, and the middle one is service component. So you can, if you want to separate it out, or in general SOA development, we call these two as a binding components, external references and exposed services. To put it in a technical way, these are responsible to interact with other systems, to interact with outer world, rather outer world from SOA. So your business logic goes here, and if you're interacting with, if you're exposing the service to outer world, you will be giving your WSDL to the external world, and you interacting inside your service component that is in external references. So that is what I've written here. So service component I have covered, and binding components. So let me define. If you open, I think this is what this is. This would be okay for the basic things on SCA. I've given two examples and I've explained in short about this. It's a short explanation, but you will get to know more during the development. But this will be okay for as an understanding point. Let me open GeoDeveloper here. You see so many components here. People, process, business rule. I'll try to explain each one in a small sentence rather. You will be going to work on these different components separately, and I'll be explaining each one separately with different examples. But since it's an explanation, so I'll try to put everything is in a small sentence, what each component means. So BPEL, so it stands for business process, don't consider spelling mistakes, sorry for that, execution language. So this is the short form is business process execution language. So what it does, what BPEL process or it provides the process orchestration. It does the orchestration mainly. We use this component for the orchestration. Yeah, I can write this. I don't want to confuse by giving more. Or basically, orchestration means here. I've already explained in the introduction video, or maybe in the second or third video. So I give an example, maybe wedding planner. Wedding planner. If for any marriage activities, if you give it to the wedding a planner, he does everything. We don't require to worry about. So he does the orchestration, and he interacts with the different guides. He interacts with the person who arranges the a mail section, and who does the decoration, and the music troupe, everything, he does the orchestration, we don't need to worry about. So here the people does the orchestration, and the people interacts with the different components which is used in your web service. So that is what orchestration here. So it is in BPL it's a service component. So it's a service component which enables to combine discrete set of services into single unit. So as I said, so it does the orchestration. So orchestration to do the orchestration, something like wedding planner or any something like wedding planner, it does all the orchestration. So people here it does orchestration for us. So which combine discrete set of services into single unit. So if you have anything, so example, I'll just create it's a wedding planner. So if you wanted to talk anything about your wedding, you interact with your wedding planner guy. So you generally not required to interact with each and every person who does the mail section, who does the decoration. So in a similar way, we interact with the people instead of interacting with each single unit. So people does their orchestration. So that's what into a single unit. So here single unit, discrete set of services, different kind of services into a single unit. So that is where your people component helps. So I think this would be okay, or maybe the other example, you're writing an edition service. So this is your simple service. Or you have subtraction, you have multiplication. So these are all simple services. So to make everything as in one component, so I'll write a calculator service. So this is going to be my composite service. We call this as composite service. With the help of BPL, we create this calculator composite service. So that means this does your orchestration, and if the user sends, I wanted to do the addition, your BPL calls addition service, and if the user wants a subtraction, your BPL, that's calculator. Let me write down here, it's a composite service. So your composite service does this orchestration for you. If it is for the subtraction, it sends the inputs to subtraction service, that is a simple service, and it will give you the response back. If it's a multiplication, your calculator service does the orchestration and it sends inputs to multiplication, and it will give you the response back. I think with this example you will be clear. I think you are almost clear. Let me open GeoDeveloper and try to create another project here, or another application for starting with. So in GeoDeveloper, maybe in the next video I'll be talking about the installation of GeoDeveloper with the required plugins. So assume like you have done the installation or you have done the setup. Now you are creating the application. Before, maybe I'll explain application also, what application means here. So application we create just now. We think we are going to create. So it has SOA projects. It has so many projects inside. Something like SOA project 2. and you have, so a project, so many projects can be, it can be n number of. So project, so application can consist many projects, not only one SOA project. So project one, you can create multiple projects inside, one for addition and one for subtraction. If I assume those are simple services, I can create in, still I can make it everything as a one project. But just to give an example, so project one could be an addition, and project two could be a subtraction, and project three might be a multiplication. So each application can have different projects, and each project will have one composite. So this is your composite 1.xml, and even in a similar way, your project 2 will have another composite.xml, and your project 3 will have another composite.xml. So the point here is, your application can have multiple projects, and each project will have its own composite.xml file. Each project will have your composite.xml file. So that is, I can say if it is 2, I can make it as 2 and 3. So now I'm going to create an application here. So for creating application, here you can see different kind of templates which has been given by developer. So since I'm interested to create SOA application, so I have created SOA application. So this will come by default when you add the plugins to your developer. So application. So I'm giving the application name as my SOA examples, my SOA practice. My SOA examples, rather, anything, my SOA, it's fine. Next. So now we have created the application, and we are going to name the a project name. So just say it might be, hello world. So what features or what template it is going to add? It is going to add the SOA related tools to your project. See now, this is what I'm going to cover. Okay, so for creating each project, you have different set of composites, not composites, what we call these as, there is one word, the patterns. No, we will not call this as a pattern. There is one word I forgot. What is that? Not partner link. It is. Okay, I'll let you know the name. It is not interaction patterns, but fine. This is the way, or these are the different kinds of composites you have. People process, human tasks, subprocessor, mediator, spring, and business rule. I'll explain each of those things now. So let's say finish. I will just go for an empty composite. If at all you were creating a project for your BPL, you can use this composite. Or if at all you wanted to create a human task flow which requires a manual intervention, or if at all you're going for mediator, if at all you are writing a business rule here, so you create this you select this composite. So for now I'm selecting empty composite. Let me close my old projects. I think it takes 2-3 minutes, or at least a minute, to render the project. So before it comes, I'll try to explain other components here. So edition example we have covered. So and people we have covered. So we'll say we will see what another one is Mediator. So Mediator, it's simply it routes the messages or events, something like, between different components. So if at all you wanted to route any messages between any components, we should use the a Mediator component. So yeah, this now the project is available now. So we have created hello world project here. So it has so this hello world is called your composite, and this is what your SCA. So now you have expose service here, components, external references. So these two are binding components, and the middle one is your service component. And at the right hand side you see the components available here. So you can, if you want to create a people process, you can simply drop it on the section. So where you are able to drop this people process. See, if you try to drop it on the external references, or if you try to drop it on the expose services, it will not allow. So that means this is not your binding component, and your developer will not let you to drop on the on these any of these two. But if you keep it on the middle components, it shows a green symbol here. So that means it is allowing you to drop it here. So I will drop it here. So after dropping it here, it will ask different things. I'll explain this, but for now I have to explain about these templates. Both synchronous and asynchronous I have already explained in the previous section. I'll explain about other things now. So before coming to these templates, I have to explain about each and everything here. People process I have explained. So Mediator is something, I'm just writing it here. It routes the messages between different components. So to interact with the different components, we required this a Mediator. Mediator. Don't consider spelling mistakes. So Mediator is done, and business rule. Business rule. So what it does, it enables you to design a business decision based on rules. So the business rule, it's something like if else statements, in simple. It does your decision making runtime. It will allow you to change the decisions during runtime also. So runtime decision making. Or if at all you have any decision making things in your service components here, I require to drop a business rule. If at all if student gets more than 90, if you want to say it is in first grade or first class, so then I'll do, if those kind of things, I'll use a business rule. Or if the purchase order, as if you see our example, if it crosses greater than $10,000, then to make those kind of conditions, I'll go for business rules, right? So something like that. Then what else you have? You have human task, and you have a Spring context. I think for now it is okay. We don't require to see everything. It's all there. Human task, Mediator explained, business rule I explained, human task and Spring I'm going to explain. Sub process you will get to know during the development. So human task, right? Whenever you require any human intervention, you require to implement this human task. So it provides a workflow modeling. workflow modeling that describes the tasks. That describes the tasks for users to perform as part of a business process flow. To perform. So, example, if manual approval is required. If manual approval is required, you have to go for the human task. That is very simple. These are kind of small examples. So if at all you wanted to go for a business rule, that means if you wanted to implement any else related kind of conditions in your business rule, in your service component, you can use the business rules. Or for the human task, if any manual approval is required, those kind of things you have to drop this human task. And Spring context, it's straightforward. If at all you have any interfaces which is available in Springs or in your Java, and you can convert that as a SOA composite application. That means this enables you to simply integrate your Java interfaces into SOA composite application. That's it. It looks very easy here, on the paper, but yeah, in development also it's not that much complex. You will get to know that easily. Not a big deal. So these are all about service components. So I have to cover the templates, or I can call this as an interaction patterns. Interaction patterns. One-way message, one-way people process. Yeah, I can call it as one-way. One-way messages. Only request will be sent. That's it. Only request will be sent. Say when you're interacting with the DB, or if you want to insert some data into database, for those you will not expect any response, right? So it does not expect any response. So for these kind of things, I can even go for one-way messages. So why you should go for these messages? Since you dropped the people process, so that means you are interested to write some a program here, as a service here, and you are interested to develop some composite. So in this way, first you should define what kind of a process you're going to use here. And if at all you're interacting with the database and I wanted to insert some data into database, so in that case I'll go for people process, and in that case I'll go for the template. I don't require a synchronous people process. I can simply go for one-way people process, or it's a one-way communication, one-way messages. Say insert into database. So the point here is you don't require to use other kind of interaction patterns, since if you're inserting some data into database, you don't require to see any response back from a database, right? It's a one-way communication. So the other one is synchronous. I think we have already talked about this, but just for cover everything here, it waits for the response for each request. Simple. So I'll put even asynchronous here. What asynchronous does, it sends request and response can come later. It sends request and response come later. These are main things. Synchronous, asynchronous, one-way, and defined service later also. Based on WSDL, if at all you already created a service and you want to use this WSDL as a template for creating your new composite, so you go for this one. So these are the main things. So for now I'll say it is an asynchronous. Just say okay. it creates your a BPL process here. See, it has added your BPL process here with a wire component, and it is your expose services, how you're exposing your your services to the external world, outside world. That is what here it is here. Since it does not have any interactions with any other systems inside, so we don't have anything here, and it's not compulsory even for each and every a service. So these two are, these two you generally see it is in every service, and whenever you have interactions in a service, then you require to have something on external references. So if you click on this BPL process, it opens a BPL. If you see the file extension, it is .bpl. This is your XML file, and this is your, once you click on this BPL process, it opens up and it takes you a BPL process. So I'll explain about this in the next video, what are these, but for now you have to aware of the activities here. It has different activities. Say receive, it has receive, it has pick, it has assign, switch, different activities. So these activities you will drop it here while you develop a BPL BPL service here, right? So that is what in BPL we'll cover all of this, but this part is just to give you a high level idea. And you have an adapter concept also here. So you have an adapter framework. So this is adapter framework. I can say it's in JCA. It's a Java connector architecture. Yes, it follows, or it based on adapter framework is based on. So you have an adapter framework available in SCA or even on SOA. That is all in SOA. Let me write down here. It exposes what it gives to us. Why do you require adapter framework in SOA? So there are some non service oriented applications, or non service oriented systems. If you want to convert those into service oriented, something like database file or queues, those are non service oriented. If at all you wanted to make those a service oriented, because of there is no way to convert them, because those are different, those are in different technology stack. So with the help of adapters, available in SOA, I think we have seen what adapters are there in SOA, like DB adapter, JMS adapter, and those kind of things. I've explained in another video already what are the default adapters. So here these adapters will be helpful to convert these services, to convert these non-service oriented systems to service oriented systems. So it basically it gives in WSDL file. With help of adapter, we can convert these services into an WSDL file. So once you have the WSDL file, you can give it to an external world. So it exposes non-service oriented systems into service oriented systems. Sorry, into service oriented systems. Like say example, a DB, a file, or queues, like the queues. These are all non-service oriented. So these are non-service. To convert these kind of inputs, or these kind of systems, or this kind of services into service oriented, you need to go for adapter framework in SOA. So this, I think, the last topic for now. Today, adapter framework. If you see, I think I've explained somewhere. I think the last videos, if I go back my text, we have seen somewhere the adapters. Yeah, maybe if not in this text pad, it would be somewhere else. But yeah, I have given the DB adapters. Those are available. Okay, fine. So non-service oriented, we have covered adapter framework, and the partner link is there. You will explain even during the development also, but just for just since I'm giving high level view, so I'll explain you on partner link also. It's a link. It's a link or reference. It's a link or reference to other server service components. It's a link to other service components, and it defines a relationship between two services. It defines a relationship between two services. So it's a definition, so you will get to know what is the partner link in the next videos. So it's a link or reference to other service components. So we'll use this partner link to interact with the we'll link it with to interact with other components, or it's just a relation between two services. To make a relation between two services, we use a partner links, or the partner link defines the relation between two services in other way. So in the next video, maybe I'll explain about the GeoDev installation. GeoDev installation with required plugins. So this will be our next video. So once you're done with this GeoDev installation, then we are good to start the development. So that's all for today. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.